Let's go back to that accident as I scheduled a half a day off at Express Scripts under Kelty Rome. And as I scheduled that half a day off under Kelty Rome, and my kids didn't have a key to 3625 Oliver, let's relive how I was leaving that day in that Bonneville my daddy gave me. And as I was leaving that day in that Bonneville my daddy gave me, how I was hit by that white woman in that small compact truck with the grill across the front, who told me that she was on the way to an estate settling where her judicial official husband died, and she was now going to settle monies with the family. And she hit me and she was so sorry. And then her lawyers rushed to the scene. I said that was 2003, Barack Obama. 2004, right? 2004. 2003 was the T-Bone with the Head Start bus. I wasn't on that bus. I said they were trying to kill me then. Now, it could have been the white people trying to kill me, but at that time, I wasn't suing for nothing. Nothing. So at 2003, 2004, Amy Jane Getz, and I wasn't suing for nothing. I thought Amy might have been trying to sue for something. Margaret O'Sullivan Kane, and then Amy Jane Getz from the Republican, what was their law firm called? It was called School Law, and then, what was it? Kane Law. And then Kane Law was when Amy Jane Getz and Amy was in the office together, Margaret O'Sullivan Kane. And then when Amy Jane Getz left Kane Law, Amy Jane Getz opened up the School Law Center. And I said that's when Amy Jane Getz and Margaret O'Sullivan Kane began to play this game as lawyers for the special ed department. And I went after them bitches first. They were the first bitches I went after before Keith Ellison, Bobby Joe Champion. I went after Margaret O'Sullivan Kane for Kane Law, 2003, where Willie Fort was in the house, and I was suing at that point. I was suing as Willie Fort was leaving because they kept trying to give me these IEPs, right? They said, you need this. So every time they said, you need this and you write this, I wrote it as they said, but then I would write it as I thought. And each time I wrote what they told me to write, I wrote something different, right? So Margaret O'Sullivan Kane was the first lawyer told by the federal court to help me. They said that Margaret has been chosen to help you, and you need to pay her $75 a month for her helping you. Margaret said she didn't want to help me. Margaret put my money order in a motherfucking drawer. Margaret threw my case in a fucking drawer, and then she called up Minneapolis District Number 1, and they started illegally administratively transferring my son. And as they administratively transferred him illegally, each time they illegally administratively transferred him, he was withheld instruction. And as he was withheld instruction, I began to pick up the work. I began to make Michael do the work. I then began to tag the teachers, right? Because the teachers was the problems for me. The teachers like Kim Ellison, Jackie Baker, who didn't want to work with little nigger boys, right? Jackie Baker. Now be clear, Jackie, Aunt Jackie, when you were tutoring Kyler Puddin's kid, you know, and they said he was EBD, well, they were saying Mike was EBD. Now, I don't know if you knew Puddin and Kyler or not, but you didn't know me and Mike, Jackie, Aunt Jackie. So you didn't want to work with me. You said Mike's too bad. I didn't go to the baker's house. I didn't hang at the baker's house. The only thing you could use was when Oriana, right, went to Mercedes' house. And as Oriana took her badass daughter, and her badass daughter began to bite my son, Mercedes took my side, Loretta. George is not here. Mercedes can't speak on it, and your little sorry ass ain't gonna deal with me. But Oriana, you wanna deal with me? You and Amani? You remember Amani? They said that you had no discipline at that point in time, that your white grandma and your mixed mother had problems, that Oriana shouldn't have had no baby, right? And they were saying you were bad as fuck, and when you got to Mercedes' house, you were biting my child. And as you were biting my child, you left a nasty bite mark on him, on his back. And my son bit you back. And Mercedes said it was okay. Why? Because she was tired of you fucking biting everybody at the daycare. George calling her up as her ex-husband demanding. Right? And you took your child up out of there, didn't you, Ori? My son wasn't accused of anything after that. He wasn't accused of anything before that. But thanks to Jackie Baker, did you want to run around and talk about how bad my son was and you didn't know him, you fat, hipped bitch? I can't stand you, Jackie. You be very clear. Aunt Jackie. You didn't know me. You didn't have a right to speak on me. And when you said you didn't want to tutor my child, who you didn't know, if you went back to Kim Ellison and you started running your motherfucking mouth, bitch, that's why we don't get along today. And I told Pooter that. I said, Pooter, she didn't even know me and my child. She didn't even attempt to tutor him to see if he could or couldn't listen to her. She didn't want to try because she didn't want to deal with little nigger boys, Pooter. And that's what I told my nephew. And I stand by that shit, Jackie Baker. So you be very clear, Kim Ellison, Jackie Baker, Margaret O'Sullivan Kane, Amy Jane Getz, Michelle Obama, Michelle Biden, Betsy DeVos, Historical College Fund, $417.6 million motherfucking dollars I said was mine. Just like I told this motherfucker how to, keep his lot from having people sleep overnight. It's because I knew the law, right? And as I knew the law, I told people how to, write about it, talk about it. And as I'm writing about it, talking about it, I'm trying to learn to be an attorney, right? I gave that shit up. I don't want to be, who do you call it, Marilyn Monroe? I didn't want to listen to that shit last night. I didn't want to hear about dick sucking last night. I didn't want to be called no motherfucking hoe on the way out the door. Darlena, Jackie Baker, huh? Again, does weed, Darlena, do the same thing as crack, Darlena? Is that what they taught you in motherfucking rehab, Darlena? Huh? Because I can't stand you motherfuckers, Darlena. You know what I mean? Do we hang together, Darlena? Do we smoke crack together, Darlena? Because that's what your mama said. Daisy said when she let Chalana stay at my house that I was the reason you smoked crack. Darlena, I never hung with you. I didn't even know who the fuck you were, right? So you keep those lies up if you want. From the Baker House, 1634 Xerxes. Like I said, Linda Baker, you be very motherfucking clear, bitch. You be very clear, bitch. Anytime you're married into a family and you create kids, the bloodline is with the kids, not the person in the, marriage. Linda Baker, you're in the marriage. So Linda Baker, as you're in the marriage of the Bakers and you want to know me and you want to keep putting your mug up in front of me, you and T.D. Baker, you be very clear, Audrey, Andrea, your sister who's passed away, Anitria. Rest in peace. You be very motherfucking clear. Linda, Jackie, Libby, Keith, $417.6 million. Motherfucker. That's what I sued for. $100 million for Keenan, $100 million for Shayla, $100 million for Shawan, $117.6 for my son, Barack Obama, where I said Keith and Bobby stole his IEP and began to bring shit out, right? Motherfucker.